Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following week. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me, as always, is Andrew Meadows.
Hello, Colton Brown. How are you, sir?
I'm feeling pretty good today. You know, it's been a while since we recorded, technically speaking. We'll get into that in just a second. But you know what? I cannot complain. I've had a pretty good day, all things considered.
Well, you know, I mean, that's good. That's good. It's a Monday. We're recording on a Monday.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the thing to be considered is the fact that it's a Monday, and you know, Mondays are notoriously shitty, and yet we're
Monday.
Here, ready to have a good time, ready to record, talk about some good things, talk about a movie that came out like a couple weeks ago, but you know, like
it's out.
It's a pretty good night. It's a pretty good night, all things considered.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into it.
Yeah. And that movie that we're talking about is a movie by the name of Zombieland Double Tap. So it's, you know, and this will be coming out right around Halloween time. You know, zombies, I feel like that's thematically appropriate. We might have a little something else coming out, you know, to celebrate the Halloween season as well very soon. So
we'll talk about it.
It's just, you know, I'm just in a good mood, man. I'm in a good mood. What can I say?
It's good. It's good.
Are you in a good mood? Are you ready to record? Are you ready to rock, dude?
I'm ready to rock and roll. I feel like there's been a gap. That gap has been due to me, admittedly.
An understandable gap, though.
Yeah. So my girlfriend's aunt recently had a heart transplant surgery, which is fucking huge. It's a big deal.
Yeah. That's some serious shit.
Yeah. So she came out of it, and she had the surgery. And she immediately after the surgery, they didn't know if she had a stroke or they didn't know if she was having seizures, but there was a lot of brain activity, and they weren't quite sure how she was reacting to the surgery. So the day after, there was a lot of brain activity, and she was pretty incoherent. She was answering questions, kind of just real. She was in and out, and then. The day after, she was walking, she was up and everything, and she was responding well, and she acted as if she did not have a stroke, which is awesome. And then by the third day, it was like a total transition, and she was back to normal. And as far as I had been dating my girlfriend, I had never seen her better than what she has been, which is out. It's completely ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's like her color, the color in her face, the color in her lips, the way she was responding to things, it was a total difference. And it was remarkable. It really was. So she had a remarkable surgery. It was a miracle. And it was awesome. I went and visited her the other day, and she's just on top of it. And just, I mean, like I said, it's a night and day difference. It's really crazy. So yeah, it was really good. That was over my birthday. My birthday was on Monday, which was like a week ago today. And we were supposed to be...
Happy belated birthday on behalf of myself and probably the listeners. They like you well enough, I'm told.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Needless to say, we are not recording on that Monday. We're recording a week later. But hopefully understandably so. And
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Well, I got to say, first of all, it's really great to hear that everything went well. Modern medicine is, as you say, ridiculous. I mean, honestly, it's taking a literal heart and putting it in someone else. I mean, it's honestly mind-blowing when you kind of sit down and think about the logistics alone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the
crazy
fact that they can have something like that and to hear that she's doing so well, I mean, that's honestly, it's fucking awesome. It's really, really great. So, yes, absolutely an understandable reason to not record. Certain things take priority, and that is definitely one of them. And I'm glad everything worked out for the best. And hopefully her route continues to be so successful. That's great. But yeah, we're here now. We waited a week, but doesn't mean we have anything less to say. In fact, we might actually have more to say. We've got some news that trickled in a little bit over this past week. Some exciting things. We might have something exciting potentially dropping tonight, which we'll talk about, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about that. But in the interim, we went ahead and put out the Studio Ghibli bonus episode out as a regular episode.
Bang, bang. Week. Studio Ghibli.
So,
finally.
So you have that delay to thank for getting that episode a little bit early, but we figured, hey, if we're not going to record, we still have something that we can push out to our listeners. So hopefully everyone's had a chance to listen to that. If not, highly encourage that you do so. Our bonus episodes are always fun, very different kind of feel to what we do with regular episodes. We kind of just get right into things and just kind of have in-depth conversations. And we covered the 1980s decade from Studio Ghibli, basically the founding of the studio and the first handful of films that they put out, which are all incredible. So definitely give that a listen. We're actually going to have a couple of Patreon-related announcements. The first one is something we've already talked about previously, both on that Ghibli episode and I believe on whatever the last episode we did. It's been 3 weeks since we recorded. I actually kind of forgot. I'm blanking right now. Now, I should also disclose to the listeners, you're going to notice that my speech gets a lot slurrier throughout the episode.
He's drinking motor oil.
I'm drinking motor oil over here. So what's happening is I've had a Cape May Brewing Company Concrete Ship bourbon barrel aged imperial stout in my fridge for months now. It's just been sitting there for months, and I thought, you know what? I'm in such a good mood today. I'm going to drink that thing that's been in my fridge for months, and it's a pint plus. It's a big tall boy can of a 10.1 percenter. And motor oil is accurate, but it is delicious. I will say that. So I'm really enjoying it. But anyway,
I'm drinking red wine, so I'll probably.
I mean, technically, that's probably a higher alcohol percentage than mine. So
Yeah. We'll get there.
But we might be feeling it a little bit, is what I'm saying. So flagging that for everyone.
It's gonna be a good episode. It's gonna be a good episode.
It's gonna be a good episode. But I think what I was gonna say is that Evil Dead is our next bonus episode. That's what we're doing as our other Halloween-related content.
One of our all-time favorites, I should say.
Oh, as a franchise, absolutely. And a lot of variety in that franchise, I'm realizing and rewatching it, which is fun.
Absolutely. It's
And I think it's going to be a fun episode to record on. I say that because we have not technically recorded it yet. Our hope is to do it this week as well, so that we can get it up in time on Patreon for Halloween. So I would say just keep an eye out on Twitter, like at WRRPod. That's our Twitter. You should see some sort of announcements like, hey, it's up on Patreon. So like I said, we haven't technically recorded it yet, but it's definitely in the cards. So look forward to that. And we'll talk about the other Patreon-related bonus episode announcement a little bit later. Do you have any fun facts? We've been going for a while. It's been 3 weeks since we recorded. Had to get some things out up front, but we always got to have a fun fact ready. It's our thing now. So
yeah. So I have a fun fact. Admittedly, courtesy of Colton Brown. He may have fed me a factoid or two.
Well, you didn't have to tell the listeners, all right? I mean, you're just ruining the magic.
Courtesy, what's the word? What's the verbiage? I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I don't know what you're trying to say either.
What I'm trying to say is recognition where recognition is due. That's what I'm trying to say.
You're giving credit. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right,
so the only name
I got it from the internet.
From the original Zombieland, which Zombieland came out like 10 years ago. It's been
a literal decade ago.
I think it came out almost exactly a decade ago. 2009. I think it's 2009. Yeah, it's been a long time. They actually called it out in the movie. Another fun fact, I think.
Yeah, 2009.
Yep.
You were right.
So, the original code name for the people that stuck was Wichita. And Columbus was originally known as Flagstaff. So Columbus is
Jesse Eisenberg's character.
Jesse Eisenberg, yeah. I was going to say
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. That's exactly
Michael
what
Cera.
I was going. Yes, that's exactly what I was going for. That's his original code name in the movie. And Tallahassee was originally Albuquerque. Tallahassee is Woody Harrelson's character. And those characters are reflected in the new movie with some different characters, which is pretty interesting. And Little Rock was originally Stillwater, but I don't think we got a new Stillwater.
I don't think there's any Stillwaters in Double Tap, but we definitely got a Flagstaff, and we definitely got an Albuquerque. So, yeah, paying a little homage to the original script. It's kind of fun.
It is kind of fun.
It's written by the same guys that wrote the first movie, so, there's also a through line there too. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a fun fact. Not the most mind-blowing of facts or anything like that, but
it's kind of fun.
A fun nod nonetheless.
Slightly
You know what? Another
fun.
fun fact that I just thought about.
What's that?
And this is actually kind of they kind of riffed on this in I think the Red Band trailer.
Drop it.
Is that all four of the principal cast members, at least from the first one, this one too, have all been nominated for Academy Awards for acting.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good act.
But there's only one winner. Only one winner of the four. Can you name the winner? Who is it?
I'm gonna say Emma Stone.
Yep, she won for La La Land.
Yep, I'm gonna say that, and I won. I got a fun fact right.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. So yeah. Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin all nominated for Academy Awards. So it's not bad. It's not bad. Although I think some of those came after the first Zombieland, and some may have. It
doesn't matter.
Before.
Needless to say, the movie that we're covering tonight is well acted.
That's true. But we're not there yet, are we? We are at the news for this week. So we're going to do a little bit of a thing where I have news, and you have trailers. I have a little bit more on my end. So how about I start? Is that okay?
Yeah, give it a shot.
All right. You want to start with some Matrix 4?
Fuck.
Is that an okay? Is that a yes?
Yeah, that's okay. Matrix 4.
Yeah. So we talked about Matrix 4 a little while back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talked about it.
We knew that Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss coming back to be directed by Lana Wachowski.
Is Carrie-Anne Moss Trinity?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
We've also learned now about 3 new cast members. So first up is we've got Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who's going to be pairing. He's going to be playing one of the leads in this. He was in. Well, he was definitely in Aquaman. He was Black Manta. The younger, the villain, the one that suited up as Black Manta, and it was also in Black Mirror. I believe he played opposite Anthony Mackie in the one that,
he totally
video
did.
game one.
Yeah, it was a little weird. That one was a little weird.
You talked about it a while back, but yeah. So he was in that.
His name is Yahya Abdul-Mateen the second.
Yeah,
that's a fucking name. Yeah,
it's a good name. So he's going to be in it as a lead role. So there's a bit of speculation kind of flying around who he's going to play. Some people are saying he might be a young Morpheus, a young Larry Fishburne.
I could totally see it.
Some people are saying he might be related to Morpheus in some capacity, maybe a son. So, or maybe he's just not related. Maybe it's just this guy's black, so he must be related to Morpheus. I don't know. I don't know what the speculation is, but I mean, actual reputable trades are saying that there is some relation to Morpheus, so it's not completely rooted in racism, is what I'm saying. Also joining the cast, Neil Patrick Harris.
Fuck yeah.
NPH.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. He's just in. I don't think there's any word on who he's playing either, but
we haven't seen him in a long time. I haven't seen Neil Patrick Harris in anything in a long time.
I'm sure he's been up to... I feel like he's been on a show recently. Not that I know what it is, but I feel like he's probably been doing something. It's
he's
just
pretty
kind of
great,
not been in our purview. And last but not least, Jessica Henwick in Final Negotiations to star as well, who you may recognize as Colleen Wing from Iron Fist.
Oh, fuck yeah.
She was in something else. She was one of the Sand Snakes as well. We like to give lots of recognition for Game of Thrones, the excellent series that it was. And she's technically in Star Wars. She was one of the X-Wing pilots in Force Awakens. So
yeah, she was. Fuck yeah, that's cool.
So she's also going to be in Godzilla vs. Kong. So I feel like her agent is killing
on
it.
point.
Also, she's great, but like still. So yeah, I think that's good. I'm happy about that. I think
wish I had
casting
an
across
agent.
the board. So those are your 3 Matrix 4 new cast members, and I gotta say, I like all
Sounds
3.
cool.
I like all 3 additions. Keanu, the Keanu Sans is in full effect, so it sounds like Matrix 4 is
Have you seen Matrix 3 recently?
I haven't seen Matrix 2 or 3 in a long, long time. I have the Blu-ray set. I don't know. You know what? That'll be a bonus episode when the new one comes out. Yeah, we're gonna do it though. We might even put the Animatrix in there too, just for the fuck of it.
Oh shit, that might be crazy. I've never seen that before.
I saw it again a long time ago when it came out. So, the Matrix, the first one is the only one that I can recall with any sort of meaningfulness.
Yeah, that's cool. All right.
Anyway, I think it's cool. I mean, it's been such a long time since we've had anything really like Matrix related, and I think a Matrix 4 sounds cooler than doing like a full on reboot or anything like that. So I'm in on this. I think it sounds pretty cool, and like I said, I think it's shaping up pretty well, at least in terms of the cast.
Cast is top notch for sure.
So that's cool. Matrix 4 coming out at some point in the future, probably in the next couple of years, probably 21, somewhere around there. So that's cool. But yeah. Now we have trailers, so we're going to alternate. We'll bounce back, a little bit. So, talk to me about some trailers.
We got a Dolittle trailer.
We sure did, didn't we?
We got a Dolittle trailer, and Dolittle is starring a whole bunch of people.
An impressive fucking cast list.
It is an impressive cast list. I tell you what doesn't get me. I tell you what gets me started more than anything else is when they start the trailer with the same guy that did Alice in Wonderland and Maleficent. Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, fuck yeah, I get pumped about that.
Say no more, fam, I'm already in. Please stop.
Pump them brakes. But we do have Dolittle starring... I'm pulling up a cast list right now, and I clicked on the wrong link.
I can help out if need be.
Yeah, you might need to help out real quick because I'm.
All right. Well, it's got Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. John Dolittle. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a doctor too, so I mean, doctor to doctor. I mean, that's awesome. I guess a lot of the cast, to be fair, is voice cast. I guess it kind of makes sense given what it is. But Harry Collett, Antonio Banderas, Michael Sheen, Jesse Buckley, Ralph Ineson, Jim Broadbent,
Spider-Man,
and I'll say on the voicing side of things, we got Emma Thompson, Rami Malek, John Cena, Kumail Nanjiani, Octavia Spencer, Tom Holland, Craig Robinson, who you saw, Ray Fine, Selena Gomez, and Marion Cotillard. So that's, I mean,
it's a big
for
cast.
What this film is, that's impressive. For what this film is, that's impressive. Now, what is this film? That is the real question at hand, and I turn to you for insight. So talk to me. Talk to me about your feelings on this trailer.
The insight, initially I got because of the time period, I got a Sherlock Holmes kind of feel.
Well, I mean, because of the Downey Jr. connection,
because
and the accent too.
The accent, the hat flip, just all of it. It just you kind of get that.
This is what Robert Downey Jr. made when he didn't think Sherlock Holmes 3 was going to happen, and then when he found out, we are going to make it.
Okay, I'll take that Disney paycheck.
About that.
It looks like
not Disney. This isn't Disney.
This isn't Disney?
No, this is Universal.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's Universal doing their best Disney impression, but I don't think they're going to make a Disney impression in terms of making their money back on it. But
I think
that's neither here nor there.
I think the cast is super heavy. I think they're spending a lot of money on it. It looks super CG heavy.
It does. It looks very expensive, and it is. I think they're spending close to $200 million on this, which is kind of wild. Again, for what this film is, okay,
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. Saw the trailer. I see the cast. The cast looks ridiculous. I imagine the cast is going to be pretty good. CG, like I said, the CG kind of pulled me out of it a little bit, if I'm going to be honest. That's my honest opinion. Is I don't know. It looks super CG heavy, and it kind of pulls me out of it. Last CG trailer that I saw that was super CG heavy was the dog movie. What is that? Where where they soup the noodle together. They kind of slurp on it together, and they kind of come together.
Lady and the Tramp.
Lady and the Tramp, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just don't know where we're at with CG and fucking animals. I saw Dolittle.
I think it's not. I think they can work. It's that
I saw fucking Lion King. Every
I
animal.
I was gonna say maybe it's problematic when they're talking, but then Planet of the Apes is like the counterexample to like every single like probably concern you have. But
then
I
it's
don't
all
know.
apes. It might be different with apes,
right? Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird thing, right? Like I don't. It's weird. There's a
the less anthropomorphic they are naturally, I guess maybe the more jarring it becomes, perhaps.
Right. It's like I look at Charlie and I think some motherfucker talking to me. You know, it's weird. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at with the animals.
Well,
we'll see.
At least we got cats, so I mean, really, that's the template for all CG animated creatures.
Which makes you even feel fucking even weirder. It's weird. We'll see where we're at with Dolittle, though. I mean, it looks like it might be. It looks like it might be okay.
Do you think he'll just go back and watch the Eddie Murphy classics instead?
That was I remember enjoying at least Dr. Dolittle 1.
I don't remember any of them.
You don't remember any one of them? I remember.
I mean, I remember them. I remember I've seen at least the first one. I've probably seen the second one. I feel like by the time they got to the third one, Eddie Murphy himself was out. I could be wrong about that.
I think you might be right.
Yep. It stars not Eddie Murphy. The first film not to feature Eddie Murphy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously this is going for a little bit more of an adventurous tone, whereas I feel like the Eddie Murphy ones were like just designed to be straight up comedies.
And it looks
I think
like they're playing deliberate heartstrings. Like I see a deliberate heartstring thing getting pulled on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like, I saw a lot of discussion about this trailer before I actually watched the trailer itself. When I sat down and watched the trailer, I didn't think it looked horrible. It doesn't look like it's going to be like painful to watch. Maybe cringy, I guess, maybe by virtue of kind of weirdness of the CG, but like it didn't look horrible to me. I just don't think it's just like who thought this was a good idea is kind of my question. It's just
not.
Like,
I don't see it making its money back.
I don't think this has any sort of appeal. And they're dumping it in January, and they spent almost $200 million on it. To me, it's just like this is doomed to fail. Like, you know what I mean? Like, look at that cast list. Obviously, that's partially where the budget went.
I've been wrong about movies, though. I was wrong about Joker.
I guess. I mean, it's just like, who is this for? You know, the age old question. Now we can answer that question about a certain film where we posed that question last, which was actually our last episode. I remember that now, and I'm not surprised that I forgot about that episode that we recorded last. Because of the content of that film, but
$900 million. It's like, well, fuck.
Yeah,
I might be
just
kind of
who is this for? Is the question with Dolittle? But I do think Dolittle is gonna bomb. I think it's gonna bomb. I think
he doesn't have a comic book behind him, so we'll see what happens.
That's true. So anyway, yeah, that's Dolittle. Comes out in January, and January might be empty enough that we might just have to cover Dolittle. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, won't we?
We'll have to see.
Shall we talk about some news?
Let's talk about it.
All right, so I've got some... admittedly, this isn't necessarily just movie or TV-related news. This actually dips into another realm, i.e. print media. Kevin Feige continues to rule the universe, and in fact, he is ruling the Marvel universe, and he will do so for the foreseeable future. Kevin Feige, of course, for anyone not familiar... is the president of Marvel Studios, responsible for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, responsible for the highest grossing film ever, Avengers Endgame.
Many fucking major...
And many others, and many other movies, some of which I assume you've seen.
He makes money.
All of which
Kevin
we've talked
Feige
about.
makes money. He's a hustler.
Kevin Feige makes money, and Disney's obviously happy with him, and they've basically... created a huge structural shift in terms of the leadership at Marvel in general, not just Marvel Studios. So Kevin Feige is now going to be the Marvel Chief Creative Officer. That is his new title. And what that means is he is overseeing all creative and all story initiatives for not just Marvel Studios, i.e. the film division, but also for Marvel Television, which includes both live action and animated mediums, and also for Marvel Comics. So he's the guy. He is going to be the guy, basically.
That's incredible.
That signs off on everything. And I mean, I talked to Anna about this recently, and she's just kind of like is that too much? Like, is that too much on his plate?
Is it too much?
I think there's...
Is it too much, though? Really?
I pushed back. I pushed back personally. I'm just like, there's still a lot of leadership below him. He's just the guy that says yes or no, when it comes down to it. And I still think the things that he himself are going to, he's going to put his kind of personal fingers in, I think are going to be different than kind of what this actually, I think it's going to be pretty similar to what he's doing now. Like, the Marvel Studios movies are pretty much his babies, and what his approach is relatively hands off. I mean, I think a lot of it is just kind of like, let's hire the right people, put it in their hands, and I think this is true more recently than it was initially to start the Marvel Studios.
Rightfully so.
When they were trying
arguably.
to get it running,
Right.
once they established themselves, once they had Avengers under their belt,
We're gonna
then it
set
was a
the
lot
track
more about
work,
diversifying the profile.
Right. We're gonna set the tracks,
and now,
and then you're gonna go.
Now it's like, well, we have the creative freedom to basically do whatever the fuck we want because our shit prints money, which is basically true. You can criticize it all you want, you know what I mean? But it's true. But the thing is, he is a guy that's very sharp, that knows these characters so well. And when he talks to people and they say, oh, I want to do this. And, I think he has the insight to say yes or no. And if that's ultimately what his decision-making capabilities, if that's what he's responsible for, then it kind of makes sense to have him do that for basically everything Marvel. You look at the success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and how could you question this move? From just a leadership standpoint of just this guy has made maybe the most successful, long-running, continuous, franchise
everything,
ever. Not just in terms of film, maybe across anything, really. You know what I mean? It's hard to be upset with this. I mean, I'm obviously a big fan of Kevin Feige. I'm a big fan of the paychecks. He pushes our way every so often, but to have him have oversight over TV and Marvel Comics, to me, that just means it's better quality control. That's honestly what it means to me.
I view
is it too much for him? Maybe, but
I view it the same way, though. I mean, you can't have... I think what this means is Marvel will have a synergistic... Is synergistic a word? Maybe. I think it could be a word.
Yeah.
You have a synergy with the...
There's going to be a lot more continuity, I think, across all parts
mediums.
of Marvel.
All mediums. Which is super beneficial for the kind of movies that they seek to put out. Not even the movies that they seek to put out, but I mean even the comics and everything else. There's one umbrella, which is, I think, super important for the brand. And no, I think that's totally awesome. Obviously he nailed the movies, which is what we kind of seek to, talk about and everything else, but at the same time, Marvel exists as an umbrella, and if he's there at the head of it, there's a continuity, and there's an umbrella there, which is I think it's super important.
No, I think it's smart too, and I think the important thing to realize is that it's not there's still layers of leadership. Like I said, he's the guy in the sense that he's the guy at the top, basically, for pretty much all of this now. But the comics are still going to have the same president, and they're going to still have the same creative director,
and they're going to have their own trajectory as well.
Exactly, and each has their own separate reporting structure. Except now they just report to Feige, who is he's the one that says yes or no to everything, I guess, in the long run. But yeah, I see it as a good thing in the sense of
it makes sense, right? I mean,
you hand the reins to the guy that not only knows his shit, but has proven beyond a reasonable doubt, he knows his shit, and his shit makes money. It does well for the company. I really do feel like this could be and
if you're going to put anything in front of the figurehead, if you're going to put anything in front of the public, I should say, right? The movies take precedence over the comics.
For sure. Yeah.
Right?
One makes money and one doesn't really, so.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, if you're going to put anybody in charge of everything, let the guy that's in charge of the face of the public take the reins on it, and then he can bring the other mediums in to the thing that makes the most money,
Yeah.
And I think
and we've already seen this with TV. I mean, we haven't with our own eyes seen it, but I mean, look at the wealth of content that they've announced for Disney Plus. You got Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Hawkeye, WandaVision.
Ridiculous.
Probably something else I'm forgetting. You know what I mean? Like, it's clear that they are super invested in the Disney Plus platform as really a big point of, things that they want to do for consumers. And you can also kind of see, I guess, kind of the after effects of this, the aftershocks of this in a way, in the sense that, like Marvel TV, they announced that Jeff Lieb, who is the current leader of Marvel TV, is leaving shortly.
He's fucking fired, finally. Fuck yeah.
Well, I don't know if he's been fired per se, but at the same time, you can see that this is heralding some changes. But I think we've been seeing that for a little while now. I mean, the Netflix deal, all those shows getting canceled.
Well, it's to be fair. I mean, you don't want to watch a Netflix show and get invested in those characters and then realize there's no. Well,
the thing is, there was never crosstalk between any of the Marvel TV shows and the Marvel movies, and that's going to change with the Disney Plus shows.
It seems like a problem. If I was owning a company, I would want a continuity between all the things that I own. I do that with the advertising of the company that I help run. You know what I mean? You want a continuity between the different brands.
I agree. I think it makes sense. I mean, especially when it's literally, a live action medium, I think it definitely makes sense. And I think that's what you're seeing the changes of most. I think they announced that Cloak and Dagger got canceled. The Ghost Rider show that was supposed to happen at Hulu is not moving forward. Maybe that means Ghost Rider gets thrown into the MCU proper at some point. Something like that. You know what I mean? Runaways is probably next on the chopping block.
These are all
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is about to be done. But like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. it was always a one-sided affair. Like, they reacted to the movies and that was about it. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, and I think moving forward, you're seeing literally fucking Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. You're seeing Paul Bettany and Lizzie Olsen like going to appear in things, and they've talked about how WandaVision is going to fucking tie directly into Doctor Strange too,
which is fucking cool.
I think it's awesome.
Even beyond the characters and stuff. I mean, they exist within the same universe.
Yeah, but it never felt like that.
It never felt like that.
It never felt like that.
And now it can.
I think it will, as a result of kind of what, things they've already been doing, but I feel like this just strengthens
granted,
that.
They've had to reacquire properties, and they've had to work within the constraints of the things that they acquired before, and there's been a lot of transition, but now I feel like it's starting to come under one thing.
I mean, you got those Fox properties under the belt. They still haven't touched any of them,
They
really,
will.
So
they will.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, I mean, they've already said they will. Of course they will.
They don't pay that much money not to, So
no, of course not.
Within the next decade, we're gonna see a giant transition in like Marvel properties being presented on within live medium, which is fucking cool. I think it's really awesome.
I mean, I think it's cool for me to. I mean, to me, it makes sense that Kevin Feige, who is basically the only person that's really spearheaded any sort of successful like shared media universe in terms of live action. I mean, not technically true. You have had examples of it in the past, i.e. the Monsters, universe from a long time ago, with Universal. And, even arguably on a smaller scale, the View Askew universe with Kevin Smith. There's examples of like cinematic universes, quote unquote, working, but never on the scale that you've seen with Marvel. You know what I mean? And so, like, try to do that with TV. Incorporate that with the fucking with movies. Like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I still think comics will definitely obviously remain in a separate continuity because comics are comics, and
but comics are constantly being drawn on for visual media.
But you can certainly. I think you'll see I would say if nothing else, you'll see a shift in probably making things where these characters are getting more prominence in the movies and TV shows, and I think you'll probably see that reflected in how the comics kind of operate too. Which I think kind of what you're saying, the synergy there, I think kind of makes sense. From like a company standpoint, especially with something like comics, where honestly you need as much revenue as you can possibly get, and
you own
this
all
day and age,
these
it's very difficult.
You own all these IPs, right? Bring them into one forefront. You want to bring them under one umbrella, rein them in. And then push whatever you can push to the visual medium. That's really where the money is at, is the visual medium and the subscription plans and all that stuff, right? Bring it in, and then it's bring it under one umbrella. We haven't been able to do that, or not we. I'd like to think I'm Disney, but I'm not. But if I was Disney, that would be my goal. Bring it in under one umbrella and then push it, and then just push it towards different facets of the company. You know what I mean? Makes sense. It's really good. I think it's a really good move.
Yeah. So anyway, we've been talking about this for a long time.
Sorry,
so we should probably go ahead and move on. No, I think it's good. I mean, as I said, it's kind of sort of movie TV adjacent in a way, but yeah, I think it's absolutely something that I think bodes well. So
my next,
in my honest opinion,
I'll bring up the next news. I'll bring up the next news real happily. We got Disney's Jungle Cruise. Speaking of Disney, bringing that Disney paycheck in.
Yeah, Disney Synergy, you might even say.
Disney Synergy Jungle Cruise featuring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh yeah,
and
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, yes. It totally looks okay.
You know, it's I was thinking about this. We had the Pirates movies, obviously, that came along, and I think they did the Haunted Mansion also with Eddie Murphy. But I'm like trying to think, like, what's the last Disney movie where they've done a Disney ride as a movie? I feel like they kind of gotten away from it a little bit, but I feel like I'm also probably just forgetting something.
I don't know. I don't think you're not. I don't think you are. I think that's probably it.
But at the same time, it's kind of just like, is Jungle Cruise an iconic Disney ride?
When I tell you what got me was the blowing the darts in the side of the boat. It's like, oh fuck yeah, that's totally a movie. Or it's totally a ride, I should say. It's totally a ride.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the fucking thing dumping water on the side of the boat. That's totally a ride. Like, they totally made a thing out of it, and I totally remember the ride. But I can't remember. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, you have the Haunted Mansion, and what else do you have, really?
Yeah, I don't know. So I guess, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll just ask you. I mean, I guess we've almost certainly both been on Jungle Cruise, i.e. the actual ride at Disney, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So the things you were talking about earlier, I mean, is that like, are you saying like those are touchstones from the ride that you remember, or are you just saying it feels like a ride in general?
No, It feels like they feel like touchstones from the ride. Okay.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, I know I've been on this ride, but I'm like, I don't really remember any of it other than like, oh, it's a Jungle Cruise. So it's on the water and you're on a
boat. You have like the tour guide, which in this case is The Rock, and he's like, hey, watch out for the waterfall. Watch out for the indigenous people blowing the darts and blah 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 blah. It feels like a total.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm just deluding myself into thinking.
Watch out for the giant hippo, and you're like, But then they're like, wait, there's more. We can take you on this mystical trip deeper into the Amazon to look for X, Y, and Z or whatever. I don't know.
My question is, as a follow-up to that, I don't remember Emily Blunt being on any of those rides with me.
Emily Blunt was definitely not on the ride with me. I wish Emily Blunt would be on the ride
if she was, I think that I would remember it better. Don't you think?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't say anything to Emily Blunt, but I would probably be like, oh, it's Emily Blunt.
Yeah, but you tell your friends later on, it's like, dude, Emily Blunt was on the same Jungle Cruise as me, dude.
She was riding on that cruise with me. Yeah, no Emily Blunt.
They'd be like, oh, did you say something to her? No, absolutely not.
Definitely not. I didn't want to pressure her.
No, of course not.
No.
It looks like kind of, I don't want to say it looks great or anything like that, but it's like, kind of typical Disney fun, I guess. Like it looks like a theme park ride, for better or for worse, I guess.
I kind of think it just looks a little bit like shit, but
I didn't think it looked that bad. But
I think it kind of looked like shit a little bit. I think when you see it, I think you'd be like, that's kind of like a little bit like shit.
I feel like it'll be very forgettable. I think it'll be very forgettable.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like at the same time, like the first Pirates movie, I think is pretty good. Did it need 17 sequels? Absolutely not. Does it need a reboot? Absolutely not. But like, sure,
it's kind of cool.
Why not?
Whatever.
I guess.
Yeah. See what happens.
We'll see what happens on July 24th, 2020. That's what we'll see what happens. All right. I guess it's my turn again, isn't it? I got some good news for you. At least I think it's good news. I guess we'll find out if you think it's good news. I have news concerning the Batman.
The Batman starring the lighthouses.
starring the Lighthouse's very own Robert Pattinson, aka
Nice.
R. Pats. Yeah, so Jonah Hill's out. That's the bad news. If you wanna go so far, he was reportedly being courted to play the Riddler, even though he wanted to play the Penguin.
Let me just ask you a
when they said,
question.
"Nope, we want you for this role," he said, "Nope, I don't want that role," and he left. So
The Joker just made almost $1 billion fucking dollars.
close to.
How do you? Kudos. I mean, I guess just kudos.
How do you
to
say
him.
no to? How do you say no to a fucking Batman movie?
Yeah, right. You know, I don't know. Maybe kudos to him for being like a artist or whatever. But
He just he wanted to play the fucking Riddler, man. Wanted to play the fucking Riddler. He says, "I'm not a fucking penguin." That's
I'm
what he
not a
says.
penguin. I'm not fucking Danny DeVito. He said, but that's okay. Whatever.
But we have some casting news, so I'll go ahead and start with the the later of the casting news, and we'll backtrack to the earlier casting news. In place of Jonah Hill is Paul Dano as the Riddler. Not the first time we've had the Riddler involved in a Batman film, as we've talked about previously. But certainly going to be a different take, if this is any indication.
Paul Dano, that little guy from what's it called? That little guy. That sounds insulting. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's a little demeaning. I'd say some of his most notable performances would be There Will Be Blood, maybe Prisoners.
Prisoners, definitely. He's a good actor.
Also, Little Miss Sunshine with Abigail
Yeah,
Breslin.
that was a really good movie. I remember that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he's a great actor. I mean, I think certainly There Will Be Blood, Prisoners are both, for me, strong indications of that. And at least in terms of comparing him directly to Jonah Hill, I feel like he strikes me more as a Riddler type, just in terms of like my familiarity with the character from the comics.
I'd agree.
And I guess like the, adaptations related to that, i.e. not the Batman Forever, more like the Arkham adaptations. So I'm a fan of this. I think he's a great actor. I'm super excited to see what Matt Reeves does with the Batman. Paul Dano sounds like a good fit for that. You agree?
Yeah, definitely agree. I think he looks. He looks. I don't know.
He looks and feels like he would be a good Riddler.
Right.
I think he does. Just outright, and I think it's good. I think it's good. Also joining the Batman is Zoe Kravitz playing Catwoman. Selena Kyle.
Who?
Zoe Kravitz, who she was in Mad Max Fury Road. She was one of the wives of the Morton Joe.
She daughter or wife of Lenny Kravitz?
Daughter of Lenny Kravitz.
Really?
Daughter.
Okay, that's cool.
She's been on Big Little Lies. She was in. We talked about it. We think we had an episode on it. She was Lita Lestrange in the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Okay.
She's been in other things. Oh, she was in X-Men First Class. She was Angel. She was the one with the wings.
Okay, that's cool. My personal favorite.
Wings.
She was in After Earth.
I don't remember that.
That's the one with. That's with Will Nelson.
It's Will Smith.
Will Smith. What did I say? Will Nelson.
And
Fuck.
Will Smith. Is that what you said?
I said Will Nelson.
Will Nelson. Okay. Willie Nelson, country singer.
Fuck. Anyways, yeah. So
So she's in it. She's actually. This will not be the first time she's played Catwoman in a manner of speaking. She also voiced the role in the Lego Batman movie back in 2017.
Well, that's cool.
There was a rigorous testing process that saw Kravitz test alongside the likes of Ana de Armas, Ella Balenska, Eiza Gonzalez, and she was the one that came out on top.
She came out on top over my girl, over Joy?
Over Joy. She was the one. She's the winner.
All
so,
right.
I mean, and Matt Reeves we trust, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good short list overall.
Shit.
But
see what happens.
she read with our boy R-Pats, and she's the one. She's going to be Miss Kyle. So I kind of feel like Matt Reeves is going to give us some cool ass shit with this movie. Like, this is shaping up to be like, I don't know. I just get the sense that this is going to be the most comic accurate Batman depiction we've ever seen. Like, there's just something about it that strikes me this way.
Over any sort of Christian Bale, Batman?
Yeah, because I wouldn't say that those are super comic accurate. Not that I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, this just to me feels like it's going to feel more pulpy in a way.
Okay.
The fact that he's apparently trying to bring in like a bunch of villains, like to me, it almost feels like it's going to be an Arkham type situation. You know what I mean? Where there's a lot of kind of Batman mythos brought into the forefront, and in a way that's not going to be like trying to ground it in any sort of like major realism in the way that Nolan did. Again, not a bad thing, just a different take on it. And we never really, we didn't get a solo Ben Affleck film as it turned out, which is how we ended up here basically. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm just getting that sense. I trust Matt Reeves with what he's been working on. He has been working on it for a while now, and I feel like he's been tinkering to get it right. And I think he's going to fucking nail it. I'm super excited.
See what happens.
I think I'm honestly 4 for 4 in terms of casting Jeffrey Wright going to be Commissioner Gordon. So
that's pretty cool.
I'm fucking in on all this, man. So that's what I got on the Batman front. What do you got on the trailer front? Or do you want to save? I mean, we could pair up a couple pieces of news together if you want me to just burn through some news real quick. It's up to you. Yeah,
just burn through your news.
All right, I'll burn through my news. Well, I have something to say on the front of Studio Ghibli. We talked about those 5 films that were released in the 1980s by Studio Ghibli, and we actually said something on the episode itself about how it might be kind of difficult to watch these films. Maybe pick up one that sounds the most appealing to you. But boy, do I have news for you, person that was worried about how to watch Studio Ghibli films. It's been officially announced that all 21 films from the Japanese animation film studio are going to be offered exclusively for U.S. audiences through the HBO Max streaming service, which is the Warner Brothers streaming service, which is basically kind of combine the likes of HBO, CW, WB Films, anything like that. So all 21 films are going to be available on it. It's going to launch in fall 2020, so you do have to wait a little while. But with how we're doing our bonus episodes, this is going to be a great way for you guys to tune in and to be able to watch some of these Ghibli films. So I don't have a whole lot to say on this front other than, listen to our bonus episode that is now out on the regular feed because it's a good episode. But also watch these fucking films any way you can. If you're impatient and you want to buy the Blu-rays, that's going to be worth your time. But if you're okay with waiting until fall 2020, watch these movies, maybe go back and backtrack and listen to some of our bonus episodes. The first one, obviously, the only one we've technically done to date, but hopefully we'll have a few more out by that point. Maybe even be done with our full coverage by that point. But so good. All these films, man. At least the ones I've seen. They're 5 for 5 in my books.
They're real good.
And Andrew's seen more than I have, and so he can attest to that statement as well. So HBO Max. I don't know exactly what the pricing point is. I think it's $15 is what they're saying, ad-free, and then they're maybe tinkering with doing something that's ad-supported, but cheaper. I don't know. Either way, watch these movies any way you can. So just putting that out there. It's definitely relevant to our interests given the recency of that episode. Last bit of news, something that actually dropped earlier today. CW, man. CW is not slowing down. And Andrew is loving it. I can tell. His
Every
face
second
speaks volumes to me. So they're not content with having Batwoman debut this year. They're not content with doing a Canaries spinoff, which I don't even know if we fucking talked about. They're making a Superman show. And it's going to be called Superman and Lois. So there's going to be a...
I heard you were from around the world, and I want to come fly around the world to see what the fuck you're doing. So what you're talking about?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, that's cool.
So it's going to be bringing back Tyler Hoechlin as Superman, reprising his role from Supergirl in various crossovers, and Betsy Tulloch from also, I think, just the last crossover they did. I'm not sure if she's appeared in any episodes of Supergirl aside from that. But it's described as revolving around the world's most famous superhero and the comic book's most famous journalist as they deal with all the stress, pressures, and complexities that come with being working parents in today's society. So I think we're going to have a little super baby, little super kid. So that could be interesting. They did a lot of stuff with that in the comics with the Rebirth run, which was excellent. So if they take inspiration from that, I think that could be really cool. But CW is not slowing down. Like I said, the Canaries show is supposed to have Kat McNamara, Katie Cassidy, and Juliana Harkavy all reprising Arrow roles. Arrow's coming to an end. Should be ending in the next few months here. It's a lot going on the CW front. So take it or leave it, I suppose. And if you're Andrew, you're probably leaving it. But there's an audience for these things, obviously. So this could be another one that finds an audience, you might say. Yeah, that's it. That's the news. I think we burned through it at a decent clip. We've got really two big pieces of news left, and they're all yours, my friend.
Well, the first one is the rise of the Skywalker.
The last rise of the Skywalker.
The last rise of the Skywalker. Otherwise
the last rise of the Skywalker. Mm-hmm.
Otherwise known as the rise of the Skywalker. Had a trailer.
It's still an extra on there, but yeah, pretty close. Almost there.
Almost there. So what's it called?
There's just Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, I think you put an extra article in there, but no worries.
Yeah, and that came out. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, final trailer for this, as they say. And pretty fucking cool. It was accurate. Dropped during Monday Night Football. Less cool. But coming out December 20th. Tickets are now on sale. Andrew and I have... maybe we booked some tickets. Maybe we're going to see it together. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. You're going to hear it first. Guarantee it.
Yeah, I think we'll be recording an episode in the same room for that. That should be pretty fun. But this is the final trailer. We got 2.5 minutes of a little bit of Star Wars goodness, teeing up the Rise of Skywalker for us, and just initial impressions, hot takes from the trailer. Anything?
Yeah, it looks pretty intriguing. I don't know
anything that that sticks out for you, or like what the fuck's going on here, or like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah, they got like some Palpatine going on. That looks fucking weird. Right? Yeah. They had that.
He's involved somehow.
They got that Star Destroyer rising up from the fucking underneath the rocks or the ice or whatever.
It's like ice. Yeah, I think it's ice. Yeah,
which is cool. They got the all the ships flying into the ice, and there's like a reflective quality on the water or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? That looks pretty cool.
I gotta say, visually, I feel like the cinematography here is on point.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
Like, this is gonna be a pretty fucking movie. Plot aside, I think this movie is going to be a spectacle to watch. Which, it should be. It's fucking Star Wars, right? But I really do feel like, man, there's just some impressive things that we're seeing just in this trailer alone. My favorite thing about this trailer, I would say overall, is the fact that I still don't actually know what's going to happen in this movie. I feel like this trailer did a really good job of just being like, Star Wars, you get it. While still giving us something new.
Yeah.
Giving some new dialogue, some new exciting things, and, a little bit of, interesting things, but not being like, oh, yeah, and this is what happens, and then after that, this happens, and then following that, this is how it ends. It's like, I really don't know how it's going to go, and I think that's honestly very exciting, and I still feel like, I was a little apprehensive to watch this. Is like, am I going to learn too much about this movie? And I think the answer is no. So, if anyone hasn't watched this, I would highly encourage you to watch it. You might get walloped in the feels when C-3PO says he's taking a last look at his friends, and then 10 seconds later we get a Carrie Fisher shot. Man, it's just like
I'm
already getting the feels a little bit. And so that's something. It looks great. It's Star Wars. It's Episode 9. It's a lot of things, and we all hope that it lives up to our hopes and dreams and expectations and stuff like that, but we'll just have to see what happens on December 20th or December 19th if you're watching it the night of. I do want to take this moment to make an announcement. Is that okay? Can I make an announcement?
Make the announcement, dude.
So we're doing Evil Dead as a bonus episode, and you know what? The Skywalker saga is coming into an end, and goddammit, we got to celebrate the Skywalker saga, and the only way that we at Watch Review Repeat know how to celebrate things is to do bonus episodes. So, you're hearing it here first. We're going to do 3 bonus episodes. Prequel trilogy, original trilogy, and sequel trilogy. In a way. Our hope is to get everything out before Skywalker comes out. Maybe we'll do some predictions in place of talking about the actual movie, but there you have it.
There it is. You heard it here first.
We're going to be doing some bonus episodes in the near future, so look forward to that. And any other final thoughts on the Rise of Skywalker final trailer?
No, that's it. That's all I got.
But is it?
No,
there more Star Wars content waiting?
To a Mandalorian trailer from Disney Plus.
Well, what if I told you that trailer literally dropped while we were recording?
Oh!
And neither of us have watched it yet. I mean, what are we going to do? Live
reaction trailer.
All right, well, we better cue it up so we can play it at the same time. We'll do some live reactions for the folks at home, and then maybe we'll do a little debrief after. Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
All right, we're playing it right now. Live reactions coming in hot. Ooh. Little Werner Herzog narration. And some badass Mandalorian shot. Digging it. Oh. Oh, he's fighting a Trandoshan. Oh, there's some badass shit already. I'm loving it. Carbonite freezing. Lucasfilm. Okay. Ship. More ship. Visually, this looks fucking awesome. Classic, like, original trilogy vibes, man. It's badass. I love it. Cool shit. November 12th, right around the corner. Visionary new series. Oh. Some aliens. Got some aliens. Little dogfight in space. Okay. Carl Weathers. Gina Carano. Oh, Giancarlo. Taika Waititi. Oh, fucking Bill Burr coming in. Oh, The Mandalorian. Star Wars The Mandalorian. Shit. Disney Plus. Woo! All right. So there it was. Now, it's time. It's time to discuss what we just saw. We've only seen it once. This is kind of a new thing overall. I mean, I feel like usually we have a couple times to process some trailer viewings, but this is it. You just heard me somewhat narrating. I was trying to keep it exciting for everyone, but Andrew, are you with us?
Yeah, holy shit.
All right, talk to me about it. The Mandalorian.
It looks pretty... It looks really good. I mean, we'd never seen a live-action Star Wars anything other than, like, Christmas special. And this is far beyond Christmas special. This looks really fucking good.
It's a cut above it, you might say?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you kind of disconnected your feed from my mic, but I tried to do a live follow along for our listeners. I'm not sure how that turned out. We'll see. People might hate that. Basically, I'm just gonna kind of echo what I said so you can hear it now. The aesthetic of this is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
It's very original trilogy, but it feels, I don't know, man, it feels authentically fucking Star Wars, man, and not in a way that's like just aping the style, just in a way that feels like a natural evolution of it. I love the cast. I love what they're doing. Like, I just get the sense that this is going to be a badass fucking show. You know what I mean? Like,
it looks
just the action we got. There's a little bit of the space combat dogfight going on. It's authentically Star Wars,
man.
And it's Star Wars on TV on Disney Plus. You know, it's like fuck. What do you want?
So, dude, it's a different thing. It's a different medium, man.
But it does look really cool. This is also another one, though. Like, I mean, similar to how I felt about the Rise of Skywalker's trailer, I still don't get a whole sense of like, what is this? Other than there's a lone gunslinger, you know, and the vast reaches of space, and what's his angle? What's anyone's angle? Who is anyone? Yeah, we still don't know that, and so I still feel like there's a lot of mystery left for a show that basically starts dropping in a couple weeks' time, which is kind of wild to think about. They are doing the week-by-week release. I know I've said that, but I should reiterate it just so everyone gets their expectations in check. But
IG-88?
Good. Well,
Yeah.
It's not IG-88, but it's the same style of droid as portrayed by one Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi?
He's
Very
that
nice.
droid. Yeah, so that's some cool ass shit. Trailer looks awesome. I mean, I don't think it convinced me any more than the first one did, but but mostly for a lack of a need to. Like I've been in on this basically since day one, and I will be watching it day one. So,
Yeah, Disney Plus is where it's at.
Yeah, you might say that. There was also a slew of character posters that debuted. I'm not sure if you had a chance to take a gander at those, but we get some looks at the Mandalorian himself, Gina Carano's character, Carl Weathers, Taika Waititi's character, and some sort of alien guy that we see in the trailer quite frequently. Looks cool. There's also this one little sliver of news that Entertainment Weekly put out, and I kind of want to see what your thought on it is. So the headline reads, "The Mandalorian contains a major Star Wars spoiler in the first episode." And that'll tell us what the spoiler is, because where's the fun in that? But apparently the first episode is going to contain a dramatic Star Wars universe spoiler. So if you had to take like a wild fucking guess, do you have any inclination as to what that could be?
It's got to do something with Snoke or maybe Palpatine, one of the two, right?
You think so? So timeline-wise, this is post-Return of the Jedi, but pre the Rise of the First Order. So it could be Snoke-related. Could be Palpatine-related, although technically Palpatine should... Well, I guess maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's just been chilling this whole time. Who's to say?
Yeah, something happens.
Yeah, so you think it's more like... You think it's along those lines. That's your thinking.
Yeah, I think... I mean, I would think. I mean, I don't know. But, I mean, that's what my guess would be. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Boba Fett.
Boba Fett, like he crawls out of the pit?
I'm thinking, yeah. I think I like my gut reaction, and maybe just because it feels so fan wanky that I'm just half expecting him to do it, but I'm expecting Boba Fett to show up by the end of this series.
That'd be
I don't
cool.
think he is the Mandalorian. I just think he will show up and be a character. Like, it just feels like they're leaving a lot on the table if they don't go back to that. And it feels like you can't make a Boba Fett kind of thing anymore, because this feels like it covers probably the same territory. So why not just make it that territory? So that's my thinking is tail end of the episode, Boba Fett crawling out of the pit, blasting his way out of the pit, something. Or even just like a casual reveal, just like, yeah, I'm still alive. And they're like, how the fuck did you get out of the Sarlacc pit? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. That's it.
You know what I mean? Like something like that. That's my bold prediction for the Mandalorian's first episode, which will drop on November 12th. So
right.
we'll see if either of us or both of us look like dumbasses come then. So anyway, it's just, throwing it out there as a bold prediction. All right, so that's finally it for the news. Thanks everyone for bearing with us through that live coverage in a way of The Mandalorian. It's time to talk about Zombieland Double Tap, if you please. It was written by Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, and Dave Callahan. Directed by Ruben Fleischer, the director of Zombieland, and also the director of Venom, that classic film we talked about once upon a time, which also starred Woody Harrelson, who was coincidentally in this film alongside Jesse Eisenberg, Abigail Breslin, Emma Stone, Rosario Dawson, Zoe Deutsch, and Luke Wilson. In this, Columbus, Tallahassee, Wichita, and Little Rock moved to the American heartland as they face off against evolved zombies, fellow survivors, and the growing pains of the snarky makeshift family. It's just a family going about their business in a zombie land, if you will.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that pretty much is it. Domestic box office made $26.8 million in its opening weekend. Good for a number 3 debut, behind the likes of Maleficent the Second, and Joker the First. Stands at $47 million domestically in total as of recording this, which is through its second weekend, and worldwide at $63.6 million. I don't think it was made for a whole lot of money, so I'm not sure that those numbers are bad per se. They're not great, obviously. It could be better, but not horrible for what it was, I don't think. But you might say that $63.6 million worldwide falls a little bit short of the new record holder for the highest grossing worldwide film for an R-rated film, which is Joker. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. which stands at not quite a 900. I think you were saying 900. It stands at $788.1 million worldwide, which is still a fucking impressive sum. But it has now bested Deadpool, which was the previous record holder, the first Deadpool, as the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. So in answer to our question of who is this for, apparently the answer is a lot of people. Okay, I think I'm seeing something here. So it's heading towards a $900 million finish around that neighborhood. So that might have been the figure you saw.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
think so,
it's I mean it just came out a few weeks ago. It's still making a good amount of money. So it's going to be doing well for a while. So clearly it's for someone. We have our answer. For a lot of people, in fact, based on those numbers. So yeah, just a point of note on that, because that's obviously a pretty big box office story. But yeah, better films could be more deserving. It is what it is. But records are meant to be broken. So Deadpool 3, where you at? Anyway, Zombieland Double Tap. When did you see this? Let me ask you that right off the bat.
Saw it on Saturday.
All right, so it's been a couple days for you. It's been a longer time for me. I saw it over a week ago now. Just again, our obvious recording delays, unanticipated, but obviously again, totally understandable. So it's a little bit fresher in your mind. So I feel like it's appropriate to kick it over to you for your hot takes on Zombieland Double Tap.
It was Zombieland 1 told again. I mean, it was. If you enjoyed the first one, you would enjoy the second one. It's humorous. It's charming. It's smart. I think it's smart. I think it's a smart movie. And that, I mean, at the end of the day, that's just what it is. It's just a humorous zombie movie, I should say. It's not one that requires a lot of intellectual digest or interpretation or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just a funny movie. And if you enjoyed the first one, then you would enjoy the second one. If you had not seen the first one, I wouldn't recommend the second one, because, I mean, it's very much a continuation of those characters, I think. I think that's pretty much it.
Well, okay, then I'll branch off of that. You have seen the first one, but you have not seen it in a while, right?
Yes, correct.
And so when you were watching this, did you feel like you were missing something because you hadn't seen it in a while, or do you feel like you were still able to get into the flow of it?
No, I felt like I picked up where I left off from the first one. Like, the first one was memorable enough, and it was different enough, and it left an impression to where I didn't miss not watching the first one. You know what I mean?
I see. Well, I guess kind of the basis for my question is you're saying if you didn't see the first one, then don't watch this one. But I'm not sure if that's entirely... I mean, I don't know that I would agree with that, I guess.
No, it's fair. It's fair. It's not like it...
I feel like it's not 100% reliant upon the first one. I actually feel like if you've seen the first one recently, it's actually in some ways detrimental.
Yeah, okay. See, that's different, see?
Well, all right. So, I mean, just loosely my take is that I thought this was fine. It was totally fine. It is what it is, as advertised, no more, no less. Well, maybe that's not true, because there was the Red Band trailer, which I talked about earlier, and that was a terrible fucking trailer. And it was much better than that trailer, I was happy to report. But I thought it was completely fine. I think it's a very charming cast. Obviously, all talented actors, as the accolades indicate. But they're all great in these roles. They obviously are having a ton of fun making this movie. And I feel like it's a fun movie, just brings you set piece to set piece, and you enjoy things. But it's not anything more than that. It's not intended to be anything more than that. So it's hard to hold it against it. But it's not groundbreaking in any sort of way. And I think why I would say that watching the first one immediately before it, I watched it maybe a day or two ahead of time. This is very close to the first movie. Dangerously close to the first movie in terms of feel and style and formula. Which makes sense because it's 10 years later. So in ways, if you're trying to recapture the audience that hasn't seen it in a while, then it's the same formula. Like, it's going to work again. And I think that's not a bad thing. Or if you're trying to capture a new audience that's never seen the first one, it came out before their time, or they're too young to see it when it came out, or their parents wouldn't let them sneak into a rated R film at the time. Like, what are you going to do? Now they're old enough to see it now, so I think that from that perspective, it feels kind of more like a, it's not even a greatest hits. It's honestly just, it's more rehashed than greatest hits.
Right.
But not in a bad way, and again, because it is a 10-year-old film, I kind of cut some slack. It does some fun things here and there. It has some fun bits here and there. It's funny every now and then. And like I said, I think the cast is totally game, and I think the cast alone kind of sells it. If I had to say. Woody Harrelson in particular, I thought was fucking hilarious in this film. When they do throw in some new wrinkles here and there, you've got a few new characters that try to kind of, give it a little bit of a new feel, new flavor to it, I suppose. Zoe Deutsch, I think, is kind of a standout performer in this as someone that is a fun, welcomed addition that changes up the formula as much as she can, as much as the script kind of allows her to do. But it's as advertised. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling for words at this point too. I'm not sure what else to say. I mean, we could talk a little bit about plot points and such and spoilers, but I think the bottom line. I mean, this is going to be a short review, but do you just want to move into recommendation? I really don't have a whole lot else to offer.
Yeah, there's not a lot to. I mean,
yeah.
I think if you enjoyed the first one, you would enjoy the second one.
Yeah,
I think
that's true. I think that's true.
I don't know where to go if you haven't seen the first one. I mean, it's
well, and like I said, we'll get into it in spoilers. I think you might have a little bit more room to kind of spread your wings and talk about things a little bit more in depth. But yeah, it's kind of, I mean, I guess just watch the trailer. I mean, honestly, the first one's like less than an hour and a half long. Like you could, I don't know if it's streaming or anything like that, but you might be better off if you can stream it, see if you like the first one, and if it's kind of your thing in terms of like feel, tone, like give this one a go. It's competently made, like it's hard to think that like, oh, this is the same guy that made Venom like last year and that was as bad as it fucking was, and you're like, oh, this is kind of fun. But it's the writers of Deadpool and Deadpool 2, so it's kind of just like, okay, obviously those guys, since the first Zombieland, went on to greener pastures, making the second highest grossing R-rated film of all time. It's totally enjoyable for what it is, but again, no more, no less. In terms of recommendation, I'll go Blu-ray on this one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you agree?
Yeah, it's a fair statement.
I mean, I'm not gonna like, for me as someone again that even someone that enjoyed the first one, I don't think this added enough new things to really sell it as any sort of like revelatory experience that you must see in theaters. But certainly if you're predisposed, I think you'll find I think you'll totally enjoy yourself watching this in the theaters. But I think just more in like a general quality standpoint, just taking a step back, it's competently made. It's well acted. Like I said, everyone's having a blast. But it's nothing new. It's nothing you've never seen before, probably. Even if you haven't seen the first one, it's still not any sort of game changer in any sort of meaningful way. But it's good fun. It's good fun. And it's hard to hate on it, say mean things about it. Like it's totally fine. It's got some jokes that land, some jokes that hit hard, and some violence here and there. And I think ultimately for me, its fatal flaw is that it's just not original, really, in any sort of significantly meaningful way. But I'd say a Blu-ray recommendation is totally fine. I would pick this up for very cheap on a Black Friday.
Yeah,
personally,
totally fair.
Throw it next to Zombieland 1 on the Blu-ray shelf, you might say.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we get into spoilers then?
Yeah, we can get into spoilers.
All right, full spoilers for Zombieland Double Tap. It's been a while for me. So what happened in this movie? What did you think about Madison? Do you like Madison as an addition to the crew? Do you like the kind of the fake out in the middle?
I totally called she was allergic to something.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I definitely felt that was the case. And also, like, if you don't die on screen, you're not dead. Like, I think that's a cinematic rule of thumb. So I figured she would come back in some sort of way. I was actually wondering if she was going to come back as a like T-800 type zombie or something like that. Something like funny. More of like to be like the physical threat towards the end or something like that. But
didn't happen. But that's
didn't happen. That's true. But it was fine. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, they tried to add, I guess, some new wrinkles to the formula in the sense of, like, oh, the zombies have kind of diversified in terms of personalities. We got ninja zombies, and we've got the T-800s, who are, basically invincible zombies, and got some other type of zombies that I forgot about. But it's fine. I just didn't think they did anything super, like, great with that. You know what I mean? I think, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of at a struggling to think of things to really.
There's not a lot to say about this movie. I mean, it's just a humorous zombie.
It's fine.
Movie.
It's fine. Like it's a breeze. It's short, and like it comes and it goes. I guess. I guess we talked about Madison a little bit. Did you like Rosario Dawson's character, Nevada?
Yeah, she's totally fine.
Yeah. I thought that was fun. Like the Elvis stuff was kind of a fun thing, The
whole thing about the driveways was pretty funny. I laughed about that.
The driveways was fun. I mean, okay, well, we can talk about. They were part of our fun fact. We should talk about Albuquerque and Flagstaff. Now, to be fair, the joke was ruined in I think the first trailer that came out, and it's probably the funniest thing in the film for me. Is kind of the duplicate characters, the mirror characters that you get with Luke Wilson and Thomas Middleditch's character.
And you get them from like a whole of one scene, which was totally fine. But
yeah, but it was fun. Like it was one of those things. Like especially since they weren't such a vital part of this film, I almost feel like you could have not put that in the trailer, and it would have been like a really really fun kind of payoff if you saw the movie and it was unexpected. But I guess that's. You want to get asses in seats, so you put funny things in the trailer. I kind of get it. It's obviously a business. That's how it goes. But, yeah, There's
not a whole lot to say about it, though, to be fair. I mean, it's just it doesn't require a lot of in-depth conversation, this movie. I laughed a little bit. The zombie run, the white buffalo or the redfoot run or whatever the fuck it was, that was pretty cool. I thought he was going to jump off the top of the tower, and he didn't. He jumped into it and hung on a hook. That was kind of different.
Yeah, I definitely expected Woody Harrelson to be like, I'm not coming back for Zombieland 3, bitches. But, I guess maybe. So I think the cast has kind of like said that like, oh yeah, we're down to do another one. I was like, all right, are they going to wait another 10 years or are they just going to make the same movie in 10 years? So the thing is, it's weird because like you can make the same movie, I think, if they're 10 years apart. But if you did another one in like 2 to 3 years, then you'd have to, I think, shake it up in some sort of meaningful way to make it interesting.
Right.
But, all right, well, I suppose we needn't dwell, I guess, if there's nothing much to say. Apologies, folks, that we don't have a whole lot to offer on the Zombieland double tap front. But in our defense, we were going to cover Jojo Rabbit until we found out that it was a limited release when we were planning on covering it. So it was in the likes of New York and Los Angeles, neither of which we live in. So it is, I think, somewhat slowly distributing throughout the United States of America over the next week or two. I think it'll be in my neck of the woods before it reaches Andrew's neck of the woods, but our hope is that we can cover that at some point. Again, nothing against Zombieland Double Tap. It's a Blu-ray recommendation. It could do far, far worse, but it's the first one, but maybe not as good, or at least not as fresh. I guess maybe not as fresh is probably the more accurate way to put it. Although, I don't think you stuck around, but I'll ask you anyway. There's actually 2 credit scenes in this film.
No, I left as soon as the credits started rolling.
All right, so the mid-credits scene is actually pretty fun. I didn't stick around for the post-credit scene because I think it's just an outtake of the mid-credit scene that they stuck. But it's Bill Murray reprising his role as Bill Murray. And it actually depicts the beginning of the zombie outbreak where he's doing a press tour for Garfield 3. Which is pretty funny. He's in an interview with Al Roker, and then Al Roker turns into a zombie, and then Bill Murray just turns into a fucking zombie hunting badass and starts like fucking murking fools left and right, and that's kind of just it. And then I forget the exact line, but it's basically the Garfield line of like, I fucking hate Mondays. So that's kind of how it was pretty fun. I thought it was fun. It was like 2 minutes into the credits, so it wasn't like way too long, but apparently the last scene is literally just him coughing up a hairball Garfield style. So all right, so that's it. for Zombieland Double Tap. There you have it. Can I ask you? Actually, do you mind if I take this moment to address the listener's corner?
Let's do it. So the listener's corner says,
all right. So listener's corner, I've got some thoughts from one Enrique Jamie regarding Joker. Because you did solicit some responses to the film, from the listener's corner on our last episode. It's been a few weeks. I don't know if you recall doing that, but anyway, here we go. Henry says, thoughts on Joker. Mostly a well-made movie, but a completely unnecessary movie for me. I think a Joker origin story, especially one that tries to humanize the Joker behind a cruel society and mental health, defeats the purpose of an agent of chaos. That being said, I really enjoyed Joaquin, a.k.a. Jaquan Phoenix, as the Joker. He is superb in everything he does and brought an uncomfortable sorrow but physical performance. I'm glad they corrected the love angle because that was wildly problematic. Oh yeah, by the way, spoilers for Joker. Who gives a fuck? Fuck you. I hated everything about the Waynes. Thomas Wayne actually cares about the city. # not my Thomas Wayne. I'm glad they mostly corrected the Bruce and Joker are half-brothers bullshit. That was dumb. Yes, it was. Never do it again. Yes, please don't. Don't tell me that the Joker created Batman. I don't want it. I did like the cinematography inside of Gotham. Also like the score. I don't want a sequel or a connected story of a 75-year-old Joker fighting a 30-year-old Batman. Overall, I enjoyed the second half more than the first. I think he actually sent that prior to us putting the episode out.
That's cool.
But those are like our thoughts, basically, just kind of in written form. Very, very, very similar, I would say, overall to how we felt about it. He also kind of had an addendum. He was quoting some kind of fan reaction. Some guy said, "Great depiction of mental illness and the ignorance amongst it." Is it though? And he said, quote unquote, "Don't give me this bullshit of the Joker as someone with mental health issues who stopped taking his meds." Again, fair. Absolutely fair. And very close, I think, to what we said. And he says he doesn't buy into the media talk about it promoting violence, which is true. But maybe don't yell things in a theater while you're watching it and stir up a panic. Looking at you, Paris. Don't worry about it. So that's the Listener's Corner. That's all I had on this front. The Listener's Corner is our way to connect with our listeners. If there's anything that you've been watching, reviewing, repeating, anything of that nature, please feel free to send us your reactions to watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. We happily would invite reactions to Joker, Zombieland, any forthcoming films, anything you've been up to recently, TV shows, movies, video games. We don't give a fuck, man. We just want you to be part of the show, all right?
That's it.
So
interact
so that's
with
what
us,
I got.
please.
That's what I got. And I want Andrew to be part of the show again, so I'm going to turn it over to you, sir. It's been a few weeks since we've recorded. Have you been up to anything exciting in terms of content you've been consuming?
So I watched. I started Castle Rock. On the Hulus.
over on the Hulus. All right, very cool, very cool. How far are you? And how is it?
It's good. I've enjoyed it. I think I'm 2 or 3 episodes away from the finale of the first season.
Okay.
But it's spurred my interest a little bit. My interest, I should say.
And season 2 is either very close to debuting or has maybe already debuted. Do you have any idea on that?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
But
are they doing
Hulu,
weekly drops or is that an all at once kind of thing?
Right, Hulu does like a weekly drop kind of deal.
Okay, so by the time you get around to it, you'll probably have a few banked up.
Right.
Cool.
And it's pretty interesting. Let's see what I mean, other than like the personal drama and the personal things that I've been experiencing. That's pretty much been about it as far as like visual content goes. I mean, that's been about it. I have managed to watch Evil Dead 1 and 2 and Army of Darkness. Army of Darkness required kind of episodic viewing because I had to, watch it in between everything. But I have managed to watch those 3 movies for the bonus
which
episodes.
we will talk about in depth very soon.
Right. And aside from Castle Rock and that's about it. I haven't been watching anything really. I
Okay.
do really very much want to watch The Lighthouse. That's my goal. I want to get out to watch The Lighthouse.
Yeah, so
sometime
we
this
were talking about it before we started recording, and I can't make any guarantees, any promises, or anything like that. But our goal is to talk about The Lighthouse in some fashion on the podcast, whether that's a single episode on its own, a bonus episode, something. But our hope is to catch that, and maybe some other indie flicks that have kind of dropped recently. So again, no promises, no guarantees or anything like that, but we'll definitely talk about it in some capacity when both of us get a chance to catch it, which will hopefully be soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. So aside from that, though, that's been about
I'm something of a lighthouse keeper myself, you know.
How long have we been stranded on this rock? It looks pretty incredible. I'm pretty fucking stoked about it, honestly. I'm really excited about The Lighthouse, but that's been about it.
Okay. Well, I have some things to talk about on my end. Some of the usual suspects, some new things as well. I'll start with some new things. Since it's been so long since we've recorded, I teed it up on our last episode, and I've now been to Texas. I've been to San Antonio. I've been to Austin, a little bit in between, mostly on a drive. I went to Austin City Limits Music Festival 2019.
Very nice.
And experienced for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Had a great time. It was awesome. Went with Jordan, my brother, many-time guest of this podcast. And saw some good-ass music, man. You know, I don't know how else to say it, but saw some excellent performances. Saw the likes of Tame Impala on Friday as the headliner. They crushed it. Saw the Raconteurs and Tom York, Radiohead's Tom York, prior to Tame. Saturday saw, going back a little bit, but saw Childish Gambino headliner. Yeah. It was fucking awesome. It was really cool.
No other than Lando himself, right?
None other than Lando himself. I totally forgot he played Lando in Solo.
Yeah.
As I'm literally drinking out of a Solo beer glass at that, so I'm sure he's depicted on this. Yep, there he is. I found him. Also on Saturday, looking through trying to look through the list right now. Billie Eilish. Saw Billie Eilish. She was great.
She's cool. Yeah.
Someone stole her ring, but they apparently returned it a couple of weeks later, so that's good. She likes to wear a lot of rings, so you know what are you gonna do? There's a few others. Oh, we saw Metric on Saturday, who fucking crushed it. Yeah. Dude, Metric was so badass. That was one of my favorite shows of the weekend. Sunday was a little bit more of kind of like a okay kind of thing. But we saw Robin as the headliner. We ended up not seeing Mumford aside from a song and a half. And Robin was actually pretty fucking legit. Not a huge into Robin in the sense that I just don't know a lot of stuff by her. But she's really cool. We saw Lizzo, who is fucking owning the world right now with Truth Hurts and such. And
that's that song where she kind of like talks a little bit, but she kind of like it's like a rap, but she kind of talks a little bit.
Yeah, it's the one where she's 100% that bitch as well. So.
Let's that go? Rap it for me.
Turns out she's 100% that bitch. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
No, but like, so like the thing with Lizzo is like they basically signed her before she turned into like a superstar in a way. Like she had a big stage, but not the big stage, and the crowd was insane. I mean, just fucking massive. And like basically they were contractually locked into having her there, and they had like Third Eye Blind on the main stage, which Third Eye Blind, totally cool 20 years ago. Not great performance.
But they're not
these
fucking
days.
Lizzo, is what you're telling me.
But like they could have swapped those two if they, you know, legally could have done so without some major recourse being taken against them. And I think they would have been better served to do that just in terms of like crowd management. We did see Third Eye Blind. Again, totally fine, but like their new stuff is pretty bad. Like just play your hits. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? We saw Lizzo. We saw Banks. Banks was great. It was fun. And I actually did see, I guess I should say, so Friday I saw a good 10 minutes of Guns N' Roses playing. It's the only time I've ever seen Guns N' Roses perform in my life, and probably will be the only time I see Guns N' Roses play in my life, but it's mostly the band back together. You got Axl, Slash, everyone's there.
Is it totally awesome?
And yeah, you know, like for what it was, like, you know, for guys, you know, obviously way past their heyday, wasn't bad at all. And then Saturday, The Cure played the same time as Gambino, so I caught the last 15 minutes of The Cure, and he's still wearing that fucking makeup, but it was good. They actually sounded really good. I mean, I thought overall they sounded better than Guns N' Roses did for sure, but I feel like, I don't know, Axl's voice is just kind of like Guns N' Roses, it's like 80s Guns N' Roses, that's a very specific kind of vocal mannerism that's not sustainable, whereas I feel like The Cure is a much more kind of sustainable sound throughout the decades. So anyway, that's ACL. It was awesome. It's the fourth time I believe that I've been. I skipped last year because of school, but I try to go every year if I can, and it's awesome. I love going out to Texas, hanging out with brother, and hanging out with little Delta, his dog, who's great as well. And it was a good time out there. We ate some fucking Texas barbecue, man, and it was excellent. We waited 4 hours for it, and fucking cold. It was fucking cold in Texas. I'll tell you that. Which was some bullshit, by the way. But it warmed up throughout the weekend. But we were wearing multiple layers, at ACL. What is this? That's kind of my Texas trip in a nutshell. We had lots of barbecue and we had lots of music, and what more can you ask for? Since I've been back, I'll backtrack in a second actually on that, but since I've been back, I actually saw another concert very recently. I saw Ghost in concert, who are a Swedish rock / metal band, and it was an awesome show. Fucking really enjoyed it. Good stuff. If anyone likes Ghost, they should definitely go see him live. If you like rock and metal, go listen to some Ghost stuff.
You like that rock and metal?
Some good stuff. I mean, they really do kind of blend some genres and go back and forth. They just put out a 2-song EP, which is basically a throwback to 60s, late 60s, early 70s kind of rock. So it's interesting. But it's really cool. And that was a really fun show. And a pretty chill show too. Definitely a different vibe than ACL, but a good vibe nonetheless. In terms of movies, the only movie I'd like to report on is something that I actually did watch while I was in Texas. Here's that backtracking part. It's called The Peanut Butter Falcon. Have you ever heard of this film?
No, I've never heard of The Peanut Butter Falcon.
So it stars Shia LaBeouf and Dakota Johnson. I'm going to look it up real quick so I can give you a little synopsis.
Is that the one where what's his face is his dad?
So no, that's Honey Boy.
Okay.
Where Shia LaBeouf is playing his own dad in a film, but we're in the LaBeoufissance in a way, you might say. So it follows a young man with Down syndrome who is played by an actual man with Down syndrome, not Shia LaBeouf, I should clarify, who escapes from an assisted living facility and befriends a wayward fisherman on the run, who is Shia LaBeouf's character, and the two form a rapid bond as a social worker, played by Dakota Johnson, attempts to track them. It's a really heartfelt movie. It's been a little while since I've seen it now, but it kind of hit all the right spots in terms of emotionality and performances, and it was really, really great. It actually kind of reminded me of Short-Term 12 in a little bit. I think just mostly kind of due to the nature of it. But I thought it was really, 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 really great. Really well done. There's a couple moments where it kind of veers into, it's a little bit more over the top, but intentionally so. Just to kind of sell you, I think, on some of the emotionality of it. And I thought it works really well. Performances were great. Said the LaBeoufissance is in full effect, I think, because Honey Boy, I think, is getting really good fucking reviews, and I do want to see that as a side note. Dakota Johnson, I feel like, 50 Shades aside, I feel like she's kind of making her name, doing some kind of more off-kilter indie type stuff like Suspiria and Bad Times, the El Royale, stuff like that. So,
right,
good for her. Good for her. Do you know who her dad is, as a side note?
Who is this? I'm sorry?
Dakota Johnson.
No, who's her dad?
A man by the name of Don the fucking Johnson.
Don the fucking Johnson is her dad?
Yeah.
No.
Which, as a side note, the Watchmen has started on HBO, so that's something on my list of things I would like to get to, but I haven't started it yet. I think it's 1 or 2 episodes in now. I think 2 episodes in now.
Starring the Don the fucking Johnson?
Starring Don the fucking Johnson, yeah. I feel like that's where that name originated. Was from our Watchmen trailer cover.
About to start it.
I'll have to start it. Moving on, I finished The Good Place Season 3, so I'm now caught up to the current season, but I'm not caught up on the current season. I started it, and Good Place is great. Season 4 is its final season, so I think I'm two and like a quarter episodes behind as of now. I need to finish one, and then by the time I watch that, it'll probably be 2 behind. But I will soon be week to week on The Good Place, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it all wraps up, because it's all been very interesting. Season 3, again, ended in a very interesting fashion in the way that Season 2 did, that really kind of makes it like, where do we go from here? So I'm excited to see how it goes. And I finally finished one of the 3 houses in Fire Emblem 3 houses. House Cressfelg reigns victorious in my first playthrough. The Adrestian Empire has taken over the world of Fodlan, and they will instill a new regime that will last forever, maybe. Under my watch, anyway. Awesome game, really enjoyed it. 3 more routes that I can play. I'm taking a break from it right now. I think I spent 60 plus hours on that, so let's just say I don't have enough time to beat the game in its entirety in the near future, but I do intend to hopefully come back and play one of the other routes and see kind of how things are, build some new relationships with some other characters that I've seen throughout the game. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's like so there's kind of I think I talked about how there's a time skip in the middle of the game, but like the second half of the game was just like, oh, you have to kill all your friends. Have fun. You know what I mean? And like, if you didn't recruit them into your house in the beginning part of the game, you're kind of fucked. So I tried to play the game for a while without trying to kill them all, but then I was just like, oh no, literally the game makes me kill them all. So anyway, they're dead, but it's for a better future, as they say. I've also been working on a secret project, which I will not expose the likes of, because I'm very early into it, and I don't want to talk about it and then not follow up on it. You know, I don't want to follow through on something. So I'm just gonna tease that. I will say it's not the most exciting thing, but it's something, and we'll see how it pans out. So maybe come next episode when we record, maybe I'll have some more updates on that front. But I just figured I'd give you a little bit of sizzle. I'll try to give you a little bit of sizzle every now and then.
What the fuck is the secret project? I don't even know what the secret project is.
Just some things I've been watching. You might say.
Right.
Or a thing. Could be a thing. Could be a thing. Plural. Who knows? What I do know is that is the end of this episode, unless you have anything else that's
No, I have nothing else. I need to go to bed.
All right. Well, in that case, we are going to wrap this bad boy up and say thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the word. We are on Patreon. It is a platform basically set up so that you can support us financially if you so choose. $2 a month gets you access to all of our bonus episodes, such as the forthcoming Evil Dead bonus episode, such as the forthcoming Star Wars bonus episodes that will be coming out before The Rise of Skywalker does. And it'll also get you early access to all of our regular episodes, such as this one. So if you want to be the first one to stay on top of all the Watch, Review, Repeat goodness, Patreon is your platform. WatchReviewRepeat.com, click the premium tab in the top left, and then click the Become a Patron button. That'll get you to our Patreon website. Alternatively, if you just head to if you head to patreon.com/WatchReviewRepeat, that's the direct link. $2 a month. We ask very little. It's just to help us kind of keep costs sustainable, to support just hosting costs, stuff like that. So, no pressure. If it's anything that interests you, there's always a wealth of content on there that you can experience, and if you're yearning for more, we highly recommend you do so. WatchReviewRepeat.com is our website. If you need anything there, it can get you to our socials, can get you to email, Gmail. Again, if you want to participate in the Listener's Corner. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we are at WRRPod. We are on Facebook at Watch Review Repeat, just searching for it. Questions, comments, suggestions, again, watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. Happily welcome anything you guys want to talk about. We can talk about it on air. Intro and outro track, Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. We're thinking next episode is going to be Terminator Dark Fate, which drops very shortly. But again, we have, floated that idea of trying to do some more indie type things like The Lighthouse. So I would say bank on Terminator being the thing, and then we'll hopefully try to fit that maybe some other stuff in there when we can. So that's That's it, folks. Thanks for sticking with us. Sorry we didn't have a whole lot to say on Zombieland Double Tap. We hope you enjoyed it, but it's going to be it for us here at Watch, Review, Repeat for this episode. So, Andrew, would you like to take everyone out?
Latest on the min, Jay.
I feel like that was my line.
Oh.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.